So welcome to our online community service get together. We've been doing this for a number of years. We've done it in person, we've done it online, and it's great that we are able to do these kind of things and actually know how to do them now online, because this seems to work for a lot of people in the middle of the day at lunchtime, and they don't have to schlep any place, and it makes life a little bit easier, although we do love to be together. So what we're going to do today is talk about, we have an agenda prepared for you, and we're going to talk about our opportunities. Can we go to the next slide? There we go. Welcome and introductions. We're going to talk about, have some of our friends talk about what it is like to work with us, and give an example of the kind of programs that they work with us and how that all works. Maybe some tips from them. And then we will be talking about our community service opportunities for the year. We also have, we want to make sure at the end that we have time for questions. We'd love to hear from people about what they'd like to participate in this year and what kind of specific questions they might have. And then we have a survey at the end. So I'm delighted because I see our two guests are on, who will be joining you. So we don't need to stress about that anymore. And I also just want to say we have some wonderful partners that are on. So some of the organizations that we work with, we're really happy to see we have folks from the city and from the school district that are on with us. And some other folks, including some of our universities, Arcadia, Temple, we really appreciate that. I want to leave anybody out. Folks, somebody from Penn, which is one of our supporters. So we really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I also just want to say, we really appreciate, Andrea, that you are here from the Keneal Foundation. We know how busy everyone is, and we love it when people join us. This is a great way to catch up with what we're up to. So thanks for taking the time. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into talking about what we do. We connect our watershed residents and communities to their creeks. This is, really the heart of what we do. In some cases, we do this across our 30 square mile watershed. In some cases, this is really tough because in the city, all our creeks are piped and underground. It's hard to connect people to something that they can't see. And it's easier in Montgomery County, where we can actually see creeks, but in many cases, they don't look like creeks anymore. So this is quite a challenge that we have. We use a lot of tools to be able to connect people to their creeks. And once we get there, then, we can start talking to them about about changes that they can make and changes that we can all make together collectively to improve our watershed. So can I have the next slide? So the way we do all of this work across the watershed, even though some of it is a little bit different depending on geography and demographics and all those kind of things, is we focus on education, stewardship, restoration, and advocacy. Here are some lovely photos of us doing just that. Many of these things all happen at the same time. And we do try to make sure that every stewardship, education, restoration event includes information about our watershed, as well as some advocacy, and really trying to make sure that folks are engaged and have a sense of how they can make a difference as well. So across the city, we focus on these things. And in Philadelphia, and we do a lot of restoration. I just want to talk about that a little bit. So we do restoration all across our watershed. Most of those projects, again, because of the way we built out our watershed, most of those restoration projects are in our Montgomery County communities. And this is a map that shows that all different kinds of restoration projects. At this point, we don't own any property. So all these projects, which at this point is about around 30 sites, are on other people's property. And we're very proud of that. These are folks that municipalities, schools, religious organizations, and now a golf course that are actually willing to work with us and let us make changes to their property, all in the interest of improving creeks and community engagement. We do have one little site that you can see over there on the left, which is our very first rain garden, which is in Vernon Park. I think that's the major sort of sense about restoration. We do all of this with partners, as I said, and on other people's properties, and we do all of this with volunteers. So even though some of our projects have gotten significantly bigger and require big equipment, we try to make sure that folks are involved along the stage of sort of seeing what's going to be happening and being part of that. And then we always involve volunteers in planting, because that's really important. And these sites are basically our second homes. So staff spend a lot of these time out at these sites, maintaining them, doing programs. Part of our thing is that we think that every place in the watershed is an outdoor classroom. And these are particularly great outdoor classrooms. And then the other focus of our work is Tacony Creek Park. So we are funded for the work in Tacony Creek Park by the Philadelphia Water Department and a few other funders. This is the system that is left of our creek in our watershed, and it's a 150-acre park plus the Juniata Golf Course. It's got a circuit trail that runs through it that's about 3.2 miles. It will connect to the Frankfort Creek Greenway eventually. There are neighborhood gateways. And this is a park that is a very narrow urban watershed park, but is really critical for the neighborhoods around it. This is largely 19120 and 19124, the neighborhoods of Longcrest, Albany, Feltonville, Juniata Park, Frankfurt, diverse neighborhoods with a lot of challenges and a lot of strengths. And for these folks, this is the green space down the street from them. And it's become increasingly important. And we are doing some really wonderful, exciting projects there. You can find out about all this stuff on our website. And for Tacony Creek Park, I'm very proud to say that we actually have a website for the park that's called, if you Google Tacony Creek Park, you will find it. But the website is tcpkeepers.org. So that's, a lot of our focus, a lot of the very wonderful art and community engagement projects that we're doing. What is my next slide? There we go. So I'm done talking. I would love to, I can talk about this. We can all talk about our work forever. And we'd love to have questions in the chat. If anybody has additional questions, please. Thank you, Jay-Z. Please, everyone, keep introducing themselves. Part of this is so you get to see other people other than us. But what I'd like to do now is ask our amazing friend, Terry Smith from the Garfield Refining Company, which is one of our neighbors, a longtime partner and supporter, and really great friend. This is a fabulous picture too, as well, I think. So I would just want to ask Terry to talk a little bit about working with us. The kind of relationship we have with Garfield is the kind of relationship we really like to have, which means that we get to see them a number of times a year. We talk to them a lot. We have a lot of the same goals. And it's ongoing. So we love to see people at events beyond sort of one-offs and really being able to be part of the community. So Terry, I think we're going to unmute you and you can take it away.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well today. Sorry, I was a few minutes late. I love to come to these every once in a while because they're great for my self-esteem. Julie always says so many nice things. It's great. It's good pick me up. Yeah, I mean, you can see from the slide, it's been a long time. We were wearing masks outdoors at that point. That was like our first group event that we did kind of even together as a business post-COVID. So we've come a long way from even then. But, I guess today I just, I'm not totally sure who's all on and what everybody's interested in hearing about. But I'll just kind of tell you about us and what we've been doing with kind of like the Watershed Partnership and TTF. So we're in, as Julie was talking about, the kind of Tacony Creek and Park watershed area, 19124. We got involved maybe about 4 years ago when we were looking to do some, give back and kind of help in the community where we are. We're a longstanding Philadelphia business. We've been around since 1892. We were originally down on Arch Street by the convention center. We were actually taken over by the city to put the convention there. So we moved out here in the 80s, and we have a lot of folks who live in the watershed, not just around the business here in Juniata, but also going all the way up to like Jenkintown and Wingcote and places like that. So it's really kind of fun because it connects. Julie always talks about connection and connecting to the watershed and people. But the people who actually work here and come here every day to work, you can track people just straight up the watershed. So it's kind of cool. And even when people are working here in one of our parks right around the corner, it's pretty cool to know that it connects back to some of their homes if they don't even live right around here. So one of the great benefits for us, and we see it every time that we work with TTF, is that they make it so easy to connect and get us the opportunities that we're looking for to be impactful. And I think this year we did a planting. We did multiple plantings last year, but we did plantings just north of kind of the office. And we had focused this year on some bigger trees that we planted. So I think we planted almost 30 trees. Julie connected us, and all the other folks at TTF connected us with the Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. Jason Mifflin put together a program where we have these giant trees. They're not giant yet, but they will be giant for years to come. These are trees that will outlive me, certainly. I know there's some young folks around here, but maybe even you. And they're going to grow to be these huge, like 100-foot trees, 50-foot trees, 75-foot trees, providing really important kind of coverage and pollution control and temperature control for the neighborhoods surrounding the park. And it's something really, really important, I think, that neighborhoods like Juniata and other neighborhoods don't get enough of. You go to some neighborhoods in the city, and Fairmount and some of those kind of like Queens Village and Rittenhouse, and you get all these beautiful urban trees, which do a really great job controlling water and like I said, temperature and things like that. But we don't have enough of that up here. And we have beautiful space, a beautiful parkland that just needs attention. And the folks at TTF were able to kind of help structure the project in a way that we could actually accomplish some of these goals that we were looking to do for the neighborhood. So I don't know, that's a little bit of my spiel. I'm happy to do questions and stuff like that too, but we're always grateful, and we think it's so important to connect with groups that are working in our neighborhood, filled with people who are, living in Philadelphia and have been around in Philadelphia. There's lots of big organizations out there that are flashy and whatever. Not to say that you guys aren't flashy, but that you're really doing, I think, a lot of the unsung work in the neighborhoods for people. And I think supporting you guys is something that's really gratifying to us and something that we're going to continue to do. And I would encourage anybody who's not supporting you now to do so, because you're going to feel great about it. And then Julie will say nice things about you too, and that makes you feel even better.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Terry. I think that what's so wonderful is that so many of us, we share a lot of the same goals. So for us to have a business that's a refining business, and you should go to the Garfield Refining website and learn more about what they do. But planting trees is not part of they're recyclers, which is really fabulous, and we love that, but they're not tree planters. So having them reach out to us and work with us and bring volunteers out, because all those volunteers then become, become advocates for tree planting. And then, provide us with funding that helps us buy really nice trees to plant. And so that is just, it's a great way to get good stuff done. We know we can't do everything we need to do everything with other organizations and other partners. And this makes it so much fun. And also it's very fulfilling to have somebody who's not in this field talking about how trees are great for managing water. I mean, that makes us feel like we can check off you know, that we educated people about this, you know, so that's terrific. So what I want to do now, thank you, Terry. And I know we're going to get to see you soon. And we try not to be flashy. That's part of our, although we are all wearing our purple polo TTF shirts, which is about as flashy as we get.
You guys have those cool purple hats too. I have one of those. I should have worn it for the call.
And we do have purple hats. So thank you. And we look forward to the next time we do some planting with you. What I'm going to do now is pass this on to Ryan Newman, who is our upstream conservation leader. Oh, he was supposed to introduce himself. I'm sorry. And then he's going to introduce our next speaker.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
I'll explain more about me later. But Emily, if you want to go to the next slide, I'm introducing Oya, who's a student at Temple, and she is the public outreach officer for the Temple Society of Environmental Engineers and Scientists, which is the club at Temple that we got the pleasure of working with this past fall on a couple planting initiatives. I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to pass it on to her now to talk a little bit about her experiences.
Hi, can everyone hear me all right? I had some problems with speaker earlier today, but if there aren't any issues, I will continue. Thank you for the introduction, Ryan. I personally am an environmental engineer, so a lot of what TTF does is similar to what environmental engineers could potentially be working with. I first heard of TTF Watershed from my friend AJ, who went by Alexa Jones, because they and their teammates, Mo, Morgan, and Jess did senior design work for with TTF, and the next generation of senior design continues to work with TTF. I know Juliana and Jake, who are part of that project. So I was able to hear about this organization from my Temple engineering friends. And so I believe last year I had reached out to Ryan and Alex about volunteering or setting up like a volunteering event. Myself and AJ had went to the Whittaker Gateway event last year in like March. It was in Juniata, and we were basically like helping remove the tires, like 'cause there's a lot of illegal dumping under that bridge, unfortunately. And I could be wrong, but I think if Dave Trashman was there, I forget. But it was definitely a lot of fun taking the trash out and being able to have the satisfaction of removing that. And it was really cool to see something like Tacony Creek Park that exists in North Philly when there's just no green space to see anywhere. And so we had talked, Ryan and I, about doing something later on in the fall. And that was to be planting trees and vegetation along creeks, which is what took place, as what you could see in the picture there. So we have actually partnered up with another club to get more members to attend. So we partnered up with the Temple University Bio Society. So those are people that did biology or bio majors. And it was a lot of fun. I think there was a really big turnout. I think multiple people like had to drive cars full with like volunteers. And at the first location, we went to someone's house, and I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, is this the right location? I don't know like if this is where we volunteer." But it was really cool that like an actual residential owner would allow us to go in their backyard and plant trees. And of course, it helped that there were dogs, so that made it a lot of fun. And then the next location was near a Ukrainian like church, and that's the location right there where the creek was. I remember it being very muddy and we were covered in mud, but it was again a lot of fun. And I think it was really impactful to see just how much vegetation helps with preventing erosion, with managing flooding, and also just seeing the ecosystems and habitats that tree planting, or I guess conscious tree planting, can create. And it made a lot of us Temple students, we go to school and some of us live in North Central Philly, where there's a lot of concrete, there's a lot of like inequality, there's very little green space or access to it. So it was definitely refreshing to be able to go to somewhere as privileged as Elkins Park to have all that green space, and just really like throw that in our face of just like, wow, we need nature. If we work with nature, it actually solves a lot of our problems. Maybe instead of, living in a world of concrete and pavement, we can work with these organisms and ecosystems to manage problems such as flooding and erosion. So I really enjoyed the experience. Everyone that went really had a lot of fun. It was definitely something I like to think of, and I am hopeful that we could do something like that in the future. So, and if anyone has any particular questions about the event, I'm more than willing to answer them. But yeah, thank you so much for letting me speak and letting us have this volunteering opportunity.
Thank you. Again, it's, we love Temple. We work with Temple on in a lot of different sort of areas, because it's involved in, geography and stormwater management and landscape stuff. But it's really great to be able to work with students. I think that's been a real benefit of the Delaware River Watershed Initiative work that we've done, which is, part of the work in our upstream communities. A lot of it is funded by the Delaware River Watershed Initiative, and we've gotten to do some really cool projects, and it's been great to to offer design students the opportunity, to help us with those. And it is really fun to go, some of our projects are in people's backyards because that's where the creek is. So I think that is, it's really interesting, and those projects all add up. And what they also do is they really educate people who live in a community about what they can do on a bigger scale in their community, on bigger properties. So thank you. These have been really inspiring. I can't remember what the next slide is. So now Malcolm is going to take it away. He has the next few slides.
Hi, good afternoon, actually. So my name is Malcolm. I am the Philadelphia Community Organizer with TTF, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about our storm drain marking program that we do as a volunteer opportunity. So we do this program in partnership with the Water Department and the Partnership for Delaware Estuary. TTF Watershed is one of 7 watersheds in Philadelphia. As you can see right here in the kind of middle area with the purple one, our mascot for our watershed is the great blue heron, which is a bird that you can see in Coney Creek Park. Philadelphia has approximately 75,000 storm drains, a lot of which are unmarked. So we do this program as a way to kind of educate individuals about where the stormwater goes to. Because a lot of people have a tendency to kind of throw trash in a storm drain or pour motor oil down it because they have an idea of it's out of sight, out of mind, it's not my problem. And that's not the case. These little medallions are to remind people that these storm drains go somewhere. For us, it's drains to Coney Creek Park, which will eventually make its way to the Delaware River. So we do this as kind of a reminder to educate people that if you put things in the storm drain, they will have an impact on the watershed and the water quality and the environment. It's a really fun program. As you can see, we have a group of children over here who did it, and it's nice because it really gets people thinking about their impact on the environment. It really gets them thinking about just things that they didn't think of before. Next slide, there we go. So as I mentioned, we do this with the Water Department in Partnership for Delaware Estuary. So on the left, the QR code will take you to our website where we have a video of how to properly use the Philadelphia Water Department storm drain marking app. It says it's an app, it's more like a website, but it has a lot of good resources for how to navigate the storm drain marking program. So there's step-by-step instructions on how to install the marker, how to use the marking app, and then there's also a really cool interactive map on that website where it shows you if you type in your address, it'll show you what watershed you're in, the storm drains closest to you, and whether or not they've been marked. And that's really helpful because it makes it a lot easier for people who would love to be engaged in this program or wanted to kind of get an idea like where to start. And it really helps lay out very easily what watershed you're in, what are the markers around you, and whether or not they have been marked yet. It also has really good resources. It has additional resources if you want to start a storm drain marking like event, if you want to do one on your own, how to navigate that process. And then on the right is the video. It's a QR code. It's okay, you do another video on our website, kind of how to install the storm drain marker. I really think this is a fun, I think this is a fun volunteer opportunity because we have a lot of people who come out for like our cleanups who can't always lift like the heavier things just because of age or whatever reason. But this isn't as physically intensive, so it's a lot more accessible to people of all ages. It's a very simple process. We have a small wire brush that you just kind of clean off the surrounding storm drain with, and you take an adhesive and apply it to the bottom of the storm drain and just stick it on the right above the storm drain. So it's a really quick process, which allows us to kind of mark more storm drain in a smaller amount of window. In the past, we've done this event with different company groups. We did it last fall with a local charter school, and they had a blast. It was about 100 and like some odd students, and they had a great time. We had them doing storm drain marking and cleanups in the park, and the kids had a fantastic time. They really wanted to come back and do more, and that really made me happy because it really shows the kind of impact that something so small like doing a storm drain marker has on these children and how it makes them aware of kind of their impact going forward. And I will hand it off to the next slide, which I believe is, I think, Ryan.
Yeah, that's me again. So I'll just further introduce myself, I guess. Again, my name is Ryan Newman, the upstream conservation leader at TTF. The stuff that I work on is focused in Montgomery County and Cheltenham, Jenkintown, Abington. It focuses on really restoration work, so maintenance work associated with that, monitoring efforts, programs, events, working with volunteers, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to touch on a couple different opportunities that are watershed wide that people can get involved in, and then touch on a few specific Montgomery County opportunities as well. The first of these opportunities, which you can see here, is called the Salt Watch. So that's a program through the Isaac Walton League of America, which you can go to their website and see more information about that. You can also request test strips on there. But what this program is really is it's a nationwide effort where volunteers can request a set of chloride test strips, and they can go out and test the streams around where they live, close to them in their backyards, and get chloride readings on what the salt level is in our creeks. So it's really surrounding road salt application and other ways that salt might get into our creeks. But it's a nationwide effort to track the numbers in that. So we've had volunteers that have been involved in this since about 2018 now, in which they began focusing on just in the wintertime. And now it's sort of extended to also look at what the chloride level might be in our streams in the spring, summer, and fall as well. So if you're interested in getting involved in this, I can certainly give you more information on it and direct you in the right way. We've been doing a lot more stuff with monitoring road salts in our streams. So this is an additional to that, and this is an opportunity that you can do out on your own as well. If you can advance to the next slide. Another opportunity we have is pollinator box workshops. So we've done a number of these now. So basically we build these pollinator boxes, which are homes for, excuse me, homes for solitary species of bees and wasps, which are actually the greatest percentage of bees and wasps and pollinators that are native to the US are actually solitary species that nest in cavities in plant stems or holes in the ground. So we build these boxes to provide nesting opportunities for these native species, and we put these out at our restoration sites where those different species can use those to provide shelter along with the food. That's all the native plants that we're adding in there as well. So we've done some of these where we will source all the materials and come out and do a workshop with the group specifically, or we can also offer this opportunity as giving you a list of materials that you could do. We did an online workshop one time, so there's a recording of that that really walks through the process of doing it, and we can help facilitate you doing that opportunity with your group as well. If you want to advance to the next slide. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our work with iNaturalist, which is a free app that you can get on your phone that helps you identify native species that, or really any species that you might see when you're outside. So it could be plants, animals, insects, birds, anything that you can get a picture or a sound of, really. People help you identify it. So iNaturalist sort of works similar to some social media apps where you can post a picture and people can comment on that picture, then they can suggest identifications. So it doubles in helping you to learn what you're looking at, but also in helping scientists around the world and also us specifically to see what types of species that people are seeing, what time of year, where they're seeing them. If we plant more of this here, will we see more of this? So it's really helpful in that. So the first opportunity here is really just exploring at any of our restoration sites. So as Julie mentioned before, we have about 30 restoration sites in Montgomery County. A lot of those are in public parks and other public areas. So going out just and exploring those sites and taking pictures and documenting what you've seen there. So you can see here the picture that I've attached is just a screen grab from our restoration site at McKinley of some of the different species that people have been seeing there. If you want to advance to the next slide, please. Another way that we use iNaturalist is with our annual BioBlitz. And what a BioBlitz is it's really just a event over a set amount of time where people go out and try and document as many different species as they can. It can be a specific species or any species in general. We've always just looked at any species that people can find in our watershed. So that could be at project sites, it could be in Tacony Creek Park, it could be in your backyard if you live in the watershed. So it's a great way to sort of get involved. So again, it's just using the iNaturalist app. We have the dates here. So it runs this year from April 21st, April 22nd to May 1st, where you can participate out on your own, or we're also hoping to get a couple events scheduled where people can come out and attend those and learn a little bit more about using the app and some of the things that we might see as well. If you want to advance to the next slide. And also coinciding with that is the City of Nature Challenge, which is another type of BioBlitz that is really a global effort. It used to really be a challenge, but it's really just become an effort across the globe for cities to document as many species as they can find. So Philadelphia has participated since, I think, 2019, I think. And so it includes Philadelphia as well as all the other counties that border Philadelphia in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Those counties are listed here on the left. So basically anytime from April 28th to May 1st, you can submit an observation and help to join in on that effort. There's a lot of people around the city that have participated over the years. I think last year there was around 1,000 different people who observed species and submitted for this project. If you want to advance to the next slide. And one other sort of related thing too, this isn't necessarily as much of a volunteer opportunity, it's just a learning opportunity. We have a series of virtual nature tours that we put together in 2020 that look at nature in Tacony Creek Park, as well as a number of our restoration sites in Montgomery County and also at Vernon Park in Germantown. So they are on our website. We can certainly give you more information on that or drop a link in the chat. But they're really just a series of tours through what type of wildlife you might see at these specific sites or locations at that time of year. So a good way to get out and sort of learn a little bit more about the watershed and what we might be seeing. So it includes information, pictures, short videos as well. Like I said, there's 5 of them. They've been out for a number of years now, and a lot of people have loved them. We'd love for you guys to check them out as well. If you want to advance to the next slide. So now I'm just going to touch briefly on 2 volunteer opportunities in Montgomery County, and then I'm going to pass it over to Alex to talk about Philadelphia opportunities as well. The first of these is really our monthly maintenance days, which are Creek Care Days, sometimes referred to as second Saturday days as well. That generally they take place the second Saturday of each month. In Montgomery County, they run from about March through to November. They run from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and they're at a different restoration site in Montgomery County each month. Sometimes they repeat, but typically they are at the restoration sites and you're fixing fencing, removing invasive vines or other invasive plants, picking up trash, just really helping to upkeep the functionality of these restoration projects, So we put them in and the trees grow, the plants grow, but there's some challenges that arise here and there. Occasionally too, there are planting events as well. And in addition to these regular monthly events, there's also some other planting events throughout the year as well that are opportunities. If you want to advance to the next slide. And then the other opportunity that I'm just going to briefly touch on is our Streamkeeper program, which is a volunteer citizen science initiative that was started in 2014 through our funding from the William Penn Foundation as part of the Delaware River Watershed Initiative. This program is really an opportunity for community members in our watershed to go out and monitor the creeks, but also become more informed citizens and better advocates for the health of our creeks in their local communities. So volunteers go out once monthly and perform a physical assessment of the creek. They submit this data to us. There's some other different training opportunities throughout the year. They might be field trips or trainings on things like macroinvertebrates or erosion in the stream. Really related stuff to just give people more of a background. So when people in the community ask them about the creek, if they're out or if they're advocating for changes that might negatively impact the creek, they feel comfortable and more confident in advocating for the creek. So that is my talk on opportunities in Montgomery County. So I'm going to turn it over to Alex now, who is going to discuss Philadelphia opportunities.
I thought it was unmuted. We're gonna show a brief video of Siani Cologne, who's our TCP keeper. I'm gonna pass it to Dorian quickly to talk briefly about the TCP keepers after the video. Can anyone hear the video?
No.
Hey Malcolm, can you restart the video real quick? Just to check this out. Still no sound?
Thanks, Olya. So we are kind of we're short on time. We want to make sure we have time for questions. So I think we should not do the video because we have a little more presentation and we want to make sure we have questions. So let's just go to the next, whatever the next slide is.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dorian de Angel, the Community Watershed Leader, and I'm going to touch upon the Taconic Creek Park Keepers, which Siani is a part of. And I'm sure we'll be able to share the link so you could see the video on your own time. So Siani is a member of the Taconic Creek Park Keepers. She's wonderful. And the Taconic Creek Park Keepers is the friends group of Taconic Creek Park that was started a few years ago, probably around 2015, 2016. It took a few years to get some committed members to get together, and they get together monthly and they help us get ideas for programming, and they help us also, Siani has been a wonderful volunteer. She participates a lot of the cleanups in Taconic Creek Park and a lot of other Taconic Creek members as well. And so this is something that everyone is welcome to join. People that live around Taconic Creek Park, that care about Taconic Creek Park. And we met a lot of these through programming that we do in Taconic Creek Park. I coordinate a lot of programs such as bird walks and nature walks. And so this photo on the left is one of the bird walks that we do along the trail in Taconic Creek Park. And the photo on the right is another event that we do every year, is our summer block parties. And these are, we're also going to be hosting a series of other annual events that would be great for Taconic Creek Park Keeper members and also other members to help us and volunteer in terms of helping us with set up the tables and also helping us to lead activities. We We've done 2 Fall Fests now, and many times we want to be able to lead craft activities and walks on the trail, and that helps when we have volunteers that are able to come help us lead and facilitate some of these activities with us so that we can provide more activities and events for the community members. There's more information about the Taconic Park Keepers on the Taconic Park website as well. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Rosario. I'm the Philadelphia Stewardship Leader for Taconic Park Watershed Partnership. I'm just going to briefly talk about the weekly cleanups we do and monthly cleanups we do. So our weekly Wednesday cleanups, as Yuri mentioned, the trail runs through different communities. So each section of the park has different issues such as illegal dumping, trash removal, certain issues such as like people dumping furniture in the park, and just, we always try to tackle these issues with the community. And just being consistent each week, we always get certain emails, just talking about all the trash at certain sections of the park. We work with different partners to do tire removal in the park. So, like I mentioned, we just try to be consistent with these issues. And sometimes we don't even do the cleanup. Sometimes we just try to do restoration work. And just sometimes we just try to tackle erosion issues that happen in the park too, such as dirt, eroding onto the trail, making it difficult for people that's on bicycles or people walking by with their children just to enjoy the park. Different areas that they need to get to. Next slide. And second Saturday key care days are cleanups that we do monthly. Each month on second Saturday, we try to engage with a big group to focus on bigger efforts. As I mentioned, we always try to tackle illegal dumping. This past Saturday on the 11th, we did an effort on 8th Street, which is right next to the Ramona Gateway, Ramona. And we worked on that issue because a community member from 8th Street just mentioned that they're really tired of walking out their house in the morning and seeing all that dumping behind the guardrail in the park, and is there any way for us to just tackle that? So for that Saturday that just passed, we had a couple of volunteers come out. We just try to focus on taking out much of the big debris that we can. There was a bunch of old furniture decaying, a bunch of landscape trees that landscapers just dump a lot of trees just to get rid of them. So yeah, if anyone's interested in coming out, these are the dates. Feel free to reach out to me if you're interested in coming out to an event. Yeah.
So am I wrapping up? I think I am. So thanks, Alex. Again, that we are waiting. Someday we will run out of trash, but we have not yet. So we really need folks to come out and help us. We work with Parks and Recreation and the Water Department and a number of bigger partners that are really helpful. But it's really ongoing, and it really matters to folks to see, to see that people care. That makes a really big difference. So this is our the page on our website with all our events. So you should save that in your bookmarks. We try to keep things as up to date as we can. Thank you, everyone. And that's the best place to see what we're up to. It's a pretty full calendar. What's the next? I think we next just want to say, if anybody has questions, you can follow up with us. Please put them in the chat. We have about 10 minutes left. And we also would love you to complete our survey, which there's a QR code here right on the screen that you can use to go to that, or to, that would be appreciated. We love feedback. We'd like to know what we can do better, what we did well, any ideas that you might have. I also think that one thing just to mention, which I'm not sure if anybody did, is, we have dates set up. We love for folks to participate on the things that we have set up and to come and work on those. That doesn't mean that we don't have flexibility. So, if there's a group that wants to come out and it's not a Wednesday or a Saturday, that's that's specified. We would be, if you're going to bring 40 people out to clean up, we will work with you. And we'll set that up. And if you want to make sure that if you have a particular, if you have a particular group and you want to make sure that we do a little watershed education, we are happy to do that. I mean, for us, these are not just cleanups, they're plantings, they're educational opportunities. And we always try to make sure that we're incorporating that. So don't think that if it's not a Wednesday or a Saturday, you can't join us. Again, as Dorianne was talking about, we do a lot of community events. So we always need people to help us welcome everybody, to set up tables, and to even do really fun activities with kids. We have stuff we just need, smiling faces and hands for. And if you have ideas, I'm just thinking about the colleges, if you have clubs that have stuff to bring, that have activities that they're doing as a class, we're always willing to talk about that. We try to bring as many resources and fun to our neighborhoods as we can. I think the last slide is all of our contact information. So real quick, I'm just going to ask Emily and Jamie Lee to introduce yourselves because you did not get to speak. And maybe we could end that way.
Sure. I'm Emily Wetzel. I'm the Development and Administration Manager for TTF. And Jamie Lee, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Jamie Lee. I'm TTF's Communications Specialist. Thank you everyone for joining.
Anybody has any questions? It's really nice to meet you, Jay-Z. Am I saying that right?
It's pronounced JC.
JC.
Yeah. Nice to meet you all too. Thank you.
It's nice to meet you. We used to be closer to Arcadia. We used to be at the Aubrey Arboretum in Germantown.
Okay.
Now we're all the way on the other side of the city because we focus on Tacony Creek Park and we're closer.
Yeah.
But we love to work with Arcadia students, and we actually are working with someone who's a graduate student. I'm looking for Dorianne, who's working with you. I'm sorry, I'm not very coherent here. Who's working with you on some a childhood education program that's environmental.
Okay.
Dorianne, what's his name? Eric?
I can't recall the name at the moment.
Okay, somebody remember? He works at a school in Philadelphia that's close to the park, the Morrison School, and he reached out to us because he's doing a program with his students.
Oh, Eric Gold.
There it is, Eric Gold.
Eric. Okay.
Doing and I know universities have all different departments and everything, but we were delighted because he reached out to us to work with us so that we can sort of support the environmental education he's doing with his students, which is focused on plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, I believe they're are they sixth graders? I think they're sixth graders.
Okay. Yeah. I'm really excited to learn about the organization, and I'm thinking of different ways students can engage. We have something called our community-based work study program, where we place students at different organizations, and we understand that being a college student is tough, so we're able to pay them at a higher rate than regular work study. And so that's one way in which students can help out. And then we also have different service days, and it would be great to kind of loop you all in to those opportunities once I share all this information with my team.
It's great.
Yeah.
We actually have had Arcadia work study students. And we used to work with Cindy, who was the head of that department for a very long time.
Yeah, she probably, I'm not familiar with Cindy, but I've been here for 2.5 years, so she might have left right when I was. Yeah.
People come and go.
Yeah, and we've also had our office has transitioned in
Mhm.
so many times, and we're kind of sticking to what we have now.
But we have work, Ryan spends time up your way.
Okay,
Because you're at the, pretty much at the headwaters of the Tookanny Creek.
okay, yeah. Okay, great. Well, Ryan, hopefully we'll get to meet in person at some point, now that we are building this relationship.
Thank you. Anybody else? We're good. Should we be able to stop and everyone has an extra 3 minutes that they discovered in the day? Okay.
Well, thank you for putting this together. This was super informative, and it's so lovely to meet everybody in one swoop. So this was just, so I'm grateful that I could attend. Thanks for the invitation, and really thanks for all your wonderful work.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is a good way to spend an hour.
It's a great way to spend an hour. Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We signing off? Yes.